Hi, this is Nikki here from Llwellyn Tarot with a video of my most beautiful decks. Now, when I was picking the most beautiful decks in my collection, to make it so that I'm not repeating myself, I've disregarded the videos that I've done for the top 5 decks. So for example, the Tower of the Abyss, it's a top deck and it is beautiful. The artwork is absolutely stunning. But because that's in my top 5 decks video, I didn't want to kind of do the same decks over and over again. And I've got a slightly smaller collection. I've got around 30 to 40 decks, which is still a good collection. You know, it's got a good tarot collection and oracle collection. So I have picked 8 decks that I feel have got such beauty within them, and for particular different reasons, and I'm gonna go through them today. Excuse my nail polish, I've been cleaning, so my nails need a bit of TLC. But without further ado, we'll get into the video. So strap yourself up because it's a bit of a long one. I like to talk. And yeah, strap up, get yourself a brew, and, you know, I'm not offended if you put this on 2 double speed, because that's what I do with a lot of the tarot videos I watch, and lots of videos I watch on YouTube, I put it on 2 speed. So do whatever you feel comfortable with while I go through these. But these decks are the most stunning decks in my collection. So we will get on with it. So the first tarot that I have is the Raven's Dream Tarot by MJ Culnane. And I feel like I went through hell and high water to get this deck, because it was shipped from the US and she's independently produced this. And I was so glad though when I got it in my hands finally, because this is such a beautiful deck. I do have the Crow Tarot, and I feel like the Crow Tarot follows the RWS a lot more closely, whereas this has got a little bit of a twist on the interpretations, and I just feel like there's so much story within the cards. So if you're getting those intuitive hits, it's really, really easy. Like, look at that for an Empress. Like, I love that Empress card, and you know, the artwork is stunning. It's just, I love anything to do with crows and ravens. This is one of my favorite cards. I love elephants. They're 2 of my favorite animals to kind of together. And, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady, it really does have that kind of magic spark. And that things like this Devil card, it really gets you thinking. The Hanged Man, another one that I really, really love. It just goes on. Oh, and this Judgment card has got to be my favorite. It's got to be my favorite card in the deck, this Judgment. It just is so beautiful, and it just gives you a different story. It just gives you a different way of thinking about the cards, thinking of things. Like, there he's got the sun there, and everything. You know, this 10 of Swords, I love the use of the wasp analogy to it. You know, you might be stung, but you can still get back up. It's such a beautiful deck to work with, and I do really like using this deck with some of my witchy readings that I do, because I really do like that kind of connection with nature and everything to do with it, and it does give me really good intuitive hits with it, as I tend to kind of work more. Obviously I know the system and have learned it, but I like to work intuitively with a bit of a mixture as well. Yeah, this 7 of Swords, if you know anything doesn't tell you about sneaky behavior, you know, this, and I love this interpretation of the 7 of Swords. Yeah, every piece of art, you know, is a work of art, and it's beautiful, and I would hang these up in my tarot area, my living room, everything. yeah, so it was a bit of a struggle to get because I'm in the UK, and obviously things were like shipping and stuff like that. It was a bit of a lavish spend. I tend to get more mass market decks just because of the price point, but I'm so glad that I have it, and I'm gonna, you know, I love this Eight of Cups, the way of looking at it, moving away into better pastures. I will treasure this copy, and yeah, and if they ever released a mass market version of this, I would go up and snap it up and then keep this as my special kind of deck there. So yeah, that was the Raven's Dream Tarot. Now the next deck that we're moving on to is an oracle deck, and this, I don't know whether you can recognize, apologies with the glare though, it is a glossy deck. This is the Tell Me You Love Me oracle, and I am not a one for love oracles, or kind of I'm not one for like older decks, as in it's got older you know, using artwork that is kind of from hundreds of years ago. I'm not one that does it, but this has got such a modern twist to it. I really love it. The fact that, you know, they've used that artwork as a basis and then put the things like the tattooing on and the images. It is such a good deck, and I have to be very careful with which cards I show. So I've only just recently got this, but you can see, you know, this lady, but you can see all the added things like the S there. I've not just noticed that, the tattoo in there, like, and it just gives you so much. And the phrases at the bottom is all you need. I do tend to be one that I will look at the guidebook, but I'm more of an intuitive reader. So these words and then this phrase is all I need to kind of get going and get started. And it does work out very, very well. Like, you know, Taurus energy within this card. I love it. I've just got to check which cards are suitable for TikTok. There was another deck that I was going to put in, which was the Goddess of Love Tarot. And again, that I didn't pick that just because it was I was worried about YouTube and, you know what I mean, restrictions. And I know, like with TikTok and things, I can't show that deck on TikTok because of the fact that it's got nudity. But yeah, look at that, like those parrots together, all the flowers. It's just so intricate and so beautiful, and it's like it's got that old vibe, but it's not too kind of old. I'm a bit of a modern. I like kind of surrealist more work rather than kind of your old, like I'm just trying to think, like Rembrandt's or things like that. But it's got an old feel, but it keeps it fresh with the tattoo work in there. So yeah, this is a new one in my collection, but isn't it just so stunning? And you can get so much from the imagery. You can get so much from just looking at the imagery, and you know, the facial expressions of the people that they've picked. It's really, really gives you such a good kind of vibe, and this is beautiful. Yeah, so yeah, this is, and they've added bits to it. So this is the Tell Me You Love Me oracle. Yeah, I love using this, and we've nicknamed her now Blunt Bertha, because she is she doesn't hold back in giving you the answers. So if you need an answer, she's gonna give it, even if it means kind of striking the blunt truth, bringing in, you know, Queen of Swords energy. I feel like this deck has got a little bit of kind of Queen of Swords energy, in that she will give you the answer whether you like it or not, and she doesn't mince her words. She can be very encouraging as well, But yeah, when you need the answer, she'll give it to you straight, this deck. So I love that. So this is what I've nicknamed Blunt Bertha. So I name quite a few of my decks just because I feel like they're part of my family and they're part of kind of giving them a little bit of personality. Probably I've got so many decks, some of them haven't got names, but a lot of the loved ones, like my Tarot of the Abyss, all my top 5 have names. Yeah, and if a name pops out, I'll go, right, I'll go with it. Yeah, so this was the Tell Me You Love Me Oracle. Now, the third tarot channels into my inner 14-year-old gothy vibe. I am very much loving the goth element. I was a girl of the 90s, so I grew up with The Crow. I grew up with Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Lost Boys, all of these kind of gothic themes, and I was very much loving of that kind of vibe and aesthetic. And I'm after kind of turning 40, I've gone more into that vibe now, realizing I was masking a lot, and now I'm kind of going into my true form. So I do have a lot of kind of spookier gothic decks because that's what I do love. I'm not a keen fan of kind of gruesome horror films, but I do love me like a gothic creepy kind of vibe. So this is the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Vargo. So let's get into it. And this, I mean, this artwork, if this doesn't come out of the 1990s, I love the kind of, you know, the feel like it's got an old vibe, but it does give that essence of a 1990s kind of feel of a tarot deck. And I am, you know, I grew up in the 90s. Like, look at that for Temperance. Like, she's an absolute kick-ass. Yeah. And sometimes it does come across a bit pippish. But I don't mind working with that. Oh, I love this 5 of Swords, like the menace on his face. It's just got so much kind of creepy beauty behind it. Yeah, that tower. Like, I do love this deck. It is such a nice deck to work with as we're moving towards Samhain. And yeah, that sun, you know, it's still gothic, but it's still got that light edge. So yeah, there's a bit of a pippish nature to the first 3 in the minor arcana. So you're looking there, you do have to kind of focus in on your intuition with that. And that death card, oh my god, that's so hauntingly beautiful. I do love this so much. I'm so gutted because when I came back to tarot just over a year ago, and I had the opportunity to get the Ian Daniels Vampire Tarot, and I missed out, and I am so devastated because it's gone out of print now. I am so devastated I can't get a copy of that because, again, it's got this kind of vibe behind it, and it's going for like silly money on places because people, you know, it is a much cherished deck. So I do want a vampires deck, but I've yet to find one that kind of gives me the same kind of, you know, 90s feeling that this one does as well. So I've got this one instead. Yeah, so this is the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Vargo. Now, so the next tarot on my list is the Goddess Oracle by Caitlin McCarthy. And I love this. You know, if I didn't have the Tarot of the Abyss in my top 5, I probably would have put Tarot of the Abyss in here as well, because it's the black and white artwork, it's the line work, it's the detail within it that is just so beautiful. And I love to kind of have this. I do a goddess reading, and I love to use this to kind of think about the energy that you need to kind of move into and what goddess is. I use this as part of my altar spaces, so when I'm connecting with deities, I use it there, because, you know, we all can't have a statue for every single deity that we work with. So yeah, I just love, and I love how inclusive this is. It goes on an absolute like plethora of pantheons that I didn't know of and I wasn't aware of, and it really, I would love to have a bigger guidebook and have more about them. I would love, you know, them to release like a guidebook like Joseph Argo did with the Gothic Tarot. There is a book you can buy separately, and the same like Deviant Moon. I would love to have a goddess oracle that was much more detailed, where it had all of these kind of they link lots of stories about them, kind of how to recognize if they're coming into your energy and things like that. That would be, rather than having to kind of use the internet and Google all the time as into where to kind of find the information. Like Nyx is beautiful. Yeah, I would love, and although it says the Dark Goddess Oracle, some of these goddesses are not dark, so to speak. You know, we've got Aphrodite in there as the goddess of love, but we do have dark goddesses like the Morrigan there, and Hel and Hecate. So yeah, this is the Dark Goddesses Oracle. Now, the next one on my list is a bit of a big shuffle. This is the Solitary Witch Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, and the artwork is by Lady Victoria. Now, I love this shiny back there. It's so simple but so good. Right, I'm just going to check if they're upside down. So this artwork is absolutely stunning. The detail, the whimsy, it's kind of given me cozy October vibes. Cozy, you know, you can use right into the winter months. Apologies. Just turn it around. Yeah, it gives you such kind of whimsy, witchy vibes there. However, I do have a little bit of a well, I'd say a bone to pick with this deck. This deck is huge. This is such a hard shuffle for my like tiny hands, so I have to shuffle it differently to every other set of cards I have. I am tempted to trim these borders off and to trim a little bit off the top and the bottom, and a lot of people, when I said it on my live on TikTok, everybody went up in arms and went, no, you can't cut the deck. But I feel like to make it a usable deck, it needs to be just that little bit. Like, look at that beautiful like artwork there and everything. It's just so whimsical. To be able to kind of thoroughly really enjoy it and use it, I feel like it does need to be smaller. I have to shuffle it kind of like that rather than a side by, because you can see my hands barely, and it's a real stretch and it really hurts, so I have to shuffle them kind of that way. But it is such a beautiful deck, and I do want to get to know it more kind of in the winter months as it's coming in to kind of reflective practice, dealing with the shadows, everything like that. So yeah, this is the Solitary Witch Oracle. It is just stunning. The next one on the list is one that I've had for quite a while. I've had it for, it was one of my first purchases, and I got this, luckily I got this on eBay secondhand, and it's been edged in this beautiful brown, and this is the Llwellyn Tarot. And I love this for kind of the transition between summer. So you still having, at the moment it's September now, it's still quite bright, it's still quite cheery, it's not been raining today, so it's quite dry and crisp. And you want something to kind of the bridge between summer and autumn. And this is it. And I love using this in the summer, and I love using this in the spring as well. So this artwork again is beautiful, and this size card is a really kind of good card, you know, size to shuffle. You can, obviously you could trim it if you wanted to make it even smaller, but this artwork is so detailed, so whimsical. So I love that star. I love that star, and the write-up in the book for the star was something that I really resonated with, in terms of the struggle that she'd had, and then but still having that belief and that faith. Like, it does stick to the Rider Waite Smith kind of tradition there, because we've got the scales and the sword and stuff, but it gives you again a legend or a myth to go with it for the major arcana, which I really enjoyed kind of reading about. It is one where you have to kind of, you can sit and read the guidebook and read all about it, and I'd love to kind of delve more into it. I've read some of it, but I've not. I'm very bad with my attention span, so I'll start reading something, or I'll start studying a deck, and then I'll go on to something shiny and new. So I do possibly need to kind of sit and spend some time with this deck, like that tower. That is such a beautiful tower card, and you can feel the energy within it, like the waves and the lightning and everything like that, and it's such a lovely deck, and it's such a nice, it gives us such a nice gentle message as well. It's not for bringing out the blunt messages. It's kind of got this gentle guiding energy to it, that I feel like I have with it. So I do that when I need, you know, something a bit gentle. If I'm a bit raw, I'll kind of go to this, and it will gently, and that's the image from the guidebook, and the box. I will go to this if I need a kind of gentle, more gentler tarot reading. There, and that Hermit Merlin, absolutely stunning, like the snakes there and everything. It's just so intensely beautiful. Yeah, so that Chariot, like, and the horned one, I loved. If anybody's seen this film, it's a very obscure Disney film, but if anybody's seen The Black Cauldron, like, it's giving me those vibes. It's giving me kind of that, and that was one of my favorite Disney films as a kid, and it still is. I do really like it. It's giving that kind of little bit of an edgy vibe to it, but it's still very accessible and very gentle. Like, I'll leave you on that chariot. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. And the myths that have been picked surrounding it, myths and legends, are really, really well considered, and everything. Like, I love the Fool write-up, and it talks about Percival and kind of how everybody laughed at him, and he kept going, and he proved them all wrong, and it really gives you a different aspect in terms of the cards, a different way of looking at it. So I kind of really do love the write-up, and I do need to dig the guidebook out and kind of dig deeper into it more. Now, the next tarot that I've got is just peeking out there. This links into one of my favourite films of all time. And I was really hesitant about buying this deck. I don't know whether if you kind of know your tarot, you might know this. And I was very hesitant to buy this because it is regarding my favourite film, one of my favourite films of all time as a child, and I still love it now. It's a comfort watch, and I was reluctant but then I gave in and I love it. And the reluctancy was partly because it was a pip deck. I have a friend, Tam, my lovely friend Tam, who has it as well, and she sent me pictures of it, and I was like, but it's a pip deck, I'm gonna find it really hard to read. And then when I started kind of working more with my intuition, I was like, I'm gonna give it a go, I'm gonna get it, and I'm just good. Even if I have it as a collector's item, I've got it. And I love reading with this. I love doing readings with this deck. It kind of links in with inner child work, I feel, a lot as well. Because it's got that kind of, it's labyrinth, it's got that childish vibe to it. And it gives me such, this Jareth, we've called him Jareth, gives me such kind of beautiful vibes. So yeah, so they have changed the minor arcana round. So feathers are swords, cups are still cups, junk is pentacles, and I can't remember what the ones are for now. I'll remember it, but you can get so much detail. Like, you think, oh, this is just the 10 of cups, but you can see that only certain ones are open and the other ones are, you know, only certain ones are open, these ones are closed. You can get little intuitive hits with this, and it really kind of unlocks that tower. I love a tower card. Yeah, even though I hate getting it in a reading, I love a good tower card. I like Judgment. Yeah, Judgment. I love that. It's like one leads to the castle and one leads to certain death. Ooh, like, I love the little kind of references. It's like battens, it's like wands. So wands are still wands. This is junk. Sometimes it is hard to kind of distinguish, you know, is this junk or is this battens with some of them. But yeah, I love how, excuse me that I've got some of the cards upside down, I do read with this quite regularly. Like, justice, like, do you want to go up, do you want to go down? Like, it's such a, I do love how they've matched the major arcana with elements of the movie. I would have loved if it was fully illustrated and not just pips, because I feel like there are other decks like the Agatha All Along deck that's new that it's on my wish list and I want to get. That is fully illustrated, and I just feel like it is a little bit of a cop-out with some of these film kind of decks that you get, like I was looking at the Supernatural deck and the Buffy deck, and it does seem a bit of a cop-out when you go into the pips with it, that you can find bits from the movie and it's just having that knowledge. But yeah, I love, you know, the Queen of Feathers is the little fairy that bites Hoggle at the beginning of the story. Yeah, I do love the court cards. Are really, really good in this deck. You can get little clues and everything, and I do love yeah, the Chariot is Sir Didymus, I mean, and Ambrosius. You know, you can't get any more. You can see I'm gushing over this deck because I love the film. Like, you can't get any more Chariot than Didymus and Ambrosius, like, trotting into. And I say this is my most beautiful as well, just because they've really honoured the style of Labyrinth, the feel of it, and it's reflective in the artwork. Like, yeah, the Hermit, I love that. And having the voice in his head. Even like the pips, they are beautifully illustrated, and it's got this kind of like carved feel to it. So I do love it. Like this sun, and like Jareth's like watching. Yeah, it's just gives you such a vibe. Like, and the Page of Pearls are the thing that bites. Yeah, even the pips are. Oh, and this is my favorite lovers card. the dancers in the ballroom scene. Like, I love it. Like, and it just gives you the flavor of, like, in, you know, a romantic relationship, who takes the lead and who follows, and, you know, yeah, it just gives you a different hit on it. Yeah. So, oh, we can't leave going through the Labyrinth deck without having Jareth there. Just beautiful, the detail with his crystal ball there, looking very menacing. Yeah. And Sarah is the Fool. I don't know whether I can find it. I'm just trying to, oh, and the devil is the demon, the fire demons with popping off their heads. I love that. A Temperance, the door knockers, and Ludo, the hangman. I just love how, there we are. I'm going to finish on this Sarah the Fool. Like, I always say that the Fool card is like Alice going down the rabbit hole, and again, Sarah is the same. She goes on this magical adventure and takes that leap. So yeah, what best to have the Fool card than to have Sarah in a medieval dress, playing pretend until things start getting serious. So yeah, that was the Labyrinth Tarot, and that was, the book was by Minerva CJ, and the artwork was by Thomas Hirjo. Apologies if I pronounce that name's wrong, but yeah, I think sometimes these film decks do need to pull themselves out and have a more kind of detailed, because a lot of people that buy these decks are fans of the films rather than tarot readers, and I think just having something beautiful like that would be kind of nice to kind of have. We've got the Fallout Tarot, and again, that's all pips, and it's very uniform. It's the same thing over and over again with no clues, and it's, again, if you're a beginner and you've bought that because you love Fallout, it's really hard to read. So yeah, sometimes that's my little bugbear with pip decks. Now, the next tarot, the final tarot that we are going to move on to is the Wildwood Tarot by Mark Ryan, John Matthews, and the artwork is by Will Worthington. And I did debate about this one because, again, I feel like the Llewellyn Tarot and this tarot have very, very similar vibes, but the artwork is just amazing. I am a lover of people creating the artwork on canvas rather than like photoshopping things, and I do have decks where they are photoshopped together, but I mean, that for, you know, temperance, balance, like, it's such a beautiful artwork. Like the Guardian, like, it just takes you back hundreds of years. It gives you that really worldly feel, like she's meshed in there and she's on the stones. Like, this artwork really does give you a lot to think about, and it is a different system from the RWS. So it's kind of, I bought it when I was very much kind of, I didn't buy it as a beginner, but I knew that it had a different system, and I do, you know, love to read this. But again, it's something that, to get the full benefit, it's reading the guidebook. I tend to kind of work more intuitively with this and with the spirits. It does, a lot of the times this deck has kind of wanted to be read with kind of very much earth energies, very masculine, kind of a lot of readings I've done for males, this deck has called out, and then now it's kind of called out to me this month. So in the month of September, I will be using this a lot more, because it's kind of said, I want to be used, I want to be heard. So it's been away for quite a bit, but I do kind of pull this deck out, and I love the association with animals. I'm not keen on I'm not an animal deck person. I do love the Raven's Dream Tarot. I do love anything to do with crows, because I'm a crow lady, or elephants I'd kind of love as well. But I'm not as keen on full animal decks, but this one has the exception, like that, the Forest Lovers. It's beautiful. It's just such, and again it changes, like bows are wands, arrows are swords, stones are pentacles, that's easy to remember, and vessels is cups, so again that's easy to remember. And the court cards have like an animal attached to them, but I love that it's got a word at the bottom, so you can use that a bit like in the Thoth deck. You can use that word as a kind of stepping stone into going at the cards. Like, yeah, oh, this is the ten of cups is so apt for the 10 of cups, like your vessel's overflowing. Yeah, I moved quickly on from that one. Yeah, and like it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful deck to have, and I did kind of not get on with this, and I thought, do I take this out of my collection? And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this. And you have to like remember certain things with it. So I have made a few mistakes with this, getting them mixed up, because I think they moved strength and justice, I think, have been moved around. And there are some, like the Wanderer, that field card, so beautiful. The Hermit. So it is, oh, and that World Tree, absolutely amazing. So yeah, this is the Wildwood Tarot, and I love it. Again, I wish it wasn't as shiny, but that's from the videoing kind of perspective. So that was my most beautiful decks. I'm quite pleased that I managed to just get it into 8, and there are others that could have been on the list, but I'm going to be doing more tags soon, showing you my collection, and when anything new comes in my collection, doing a review of that. So yeah, if you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button, please subscribe, do all the things, and hopefully I can bring you more in the future. So have a lovely day. It's bye from me, and I will see you again soon on another video. Take care, everyone.